Hello and welcome to my first ever YouTube video. This video will be about um, my journey with body image and also with nudity. How did I come to a place where I am okay with being nude? Where I was when I first was a teenager and grew up, my personal development with nudity and why I find it so empowering and so freeing, and yes, my point of view and how I view nudity. So yes, this is my first YouTube video. So first of all, I wasn't always okay with nudity. I grew up in Mexico in a very, very, very conservative household. Conservative households. Don't be too conservative, because or else you'll see what will happen. Your children will run the other direction, like how I did, to the other extremity. Sorry. Yes. So, yeah, overly strict parents create really rebellious children. We all know that. So yeah, communicate with your children freely and they won't rebel from you how I did. So yeah, I grew up, I was a messianic Jew, okay? So it means that I am Jewish, but I grew up Christian. Like, I was full on praying to Jesus, and no disrespect on anyone or anything, but for me it was really, I was also in a very, very Christian school that was tiny, 70 students from grade 7 to grade 12. And that's where I learned my English. Like everything, I studied in English. Forgive me if I make mistakes. I speak 3 languages, and I've been talking a lot in Hebrew recently. So hopefully my English will get better, and yeah. Please feel free to ask questions. Please subscribe. I don't know if I introduced myself, and sorry if this is a mess. My name is Aurora. Aurora Light, that's my name. So yeah, excited to start this journey. So yeah, how I said, I grew up as a Messianic Jew in a very, very Christian school. So they kind of brainwashed us students, like in school dances and stuff like that. They would measure my dress, that it would be exactly in the right space, like not above the knee, and like a lot of these crazy rules. And I really felt suffocated in this environment. I really, really felt suffocated. I felt caged. I felt angry that I'm being sexualized. I was just 15 years old, 13 years old. Like, why do I have to have my dress measured because the boys in class won't control themselves? Like, why do you make me cover myself and not teach them not to look? And I was just angry about all these small things. I was angry. I grew up in a household that didn't allow me to walk in the streets because I grew up in Mexico, so it was dangerous. A lot of paranoia about being kidnapped, for being a girl, being raped, and all of these words that I can't say on YouTube because they will censor me. So yeah, also from a Christian point of view, nudity was something that you're only supposed to do with the person you marry. So all of these things were put in my head. Sex after marriage, nudity only with my husband, things like this in my head. And then I moved from Mexico at age 19 to Israel. And it took me about like a year and a half to understand. It happened, you know when? I was in the army for a year and a half in the army. And then there's this thing called meyuchedet, where I was a lone soldier, okay? Because my family was in Mexico. There's this thing called meyuchedet, where you can literally, the army or sponsors pay for your flight ticket as a lone soldier, and you get to go to your a country of origin. So I went to Mexico, and suddenly I was seeing things through different eyes completely. Oh, thank you. Thank you. Suddenly I was seeing things through completely different eyes. Suddenly I could see the cage. I could see that I was no longer holding Christianity, that I didn't want to continue this after coming back and seeing it from like the outside and not from the inside, you know what I mean? So I decided then that when I go back to Israel, I will let go of all of that. And that started by, like, for me, it came to like the material. Like, for me, in order to completely leave Christianity, I also needed to lose my virginity. Why? Because that's how it worked. I was still a virgin until age 21, okay? So I went to Israel. I went back to Israel. And I was like, I'm going to lose my virginity. I wasn't ready to fall in love, but I was ready to start like my sexual journey. So it all started. And like, I started my sexual journey, and I started having lots of fun. But after a year or so of like this sexual freedom I was giving to myself and exploring and being with different people and all of this, it became too much, and I was like, okay, I need to stop. I need to leave Tel Aviv. I was living in Tel Aviv. I need to leave Tel Aviv. I need to go away to listen to my heart. And then I arrived to Mitzpe Ramon, which was like, for me, my life changed when I went to Mitzpe Ramon. I went to a place called the Mever that doesn't exist anymore. I volunteered for 4 months, and I just opened all the things that I had suppressed most of my life. And there, I think for the first time, I started having like hippie friends, and we would just swim together naked. Also, in Tel Aviv, I would go skinny dipping naked in the beach, and it was so freeing. I was like, wow, I feel like my body as a whole and not just, censored parts. So I would go into the beach naked. And through Mitzpe Ramon, I got to meet more and more hippies that we became friends, and we just were hanging out in nature naked, and it was completely not sexual. For me, it was also super healthy for like my body image and other people's bodies. Like, seeing different kinds of bodies was really good for my brain. Oi. But look, natural. Yeah. So I started to go also to spaces called the Rainbow, where it's literally people camping together in nature, and nudity is allowed, and it was just really freeing, and I loved being naked in the nature. So it was really just positive for my head, and like I felt like it was very spiritual for me. Also, when I was traveling in Europe, there is the sauna culture, which is like you see different kinds of people, young children, grandparents, old people, like people our parents' age, everyone together naked in the sauna, and it's completely not sexual, and it's not weird, and it's beautiful, and it's good for the mind to like see different kinds of bodies naked, you know what I mean? Yeah, I feel like it really cleaned my heart, and I feel like it's something super important that we lost as human beings, and I'm trying to bring it back in my life. So hope this was helpful. If you have questions, I would love to answer them. And yeah, this is my first YouTube video. Short but sweet. Kisses.